What up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Cool coming to you from Big Cool Entertainment, and I'm here to talk about Glenn. You know, there's a lot of Walking Dead fans that are still in shock by last night's episode at the perceived death of Glenn, a beloved character who's been there since day one, and I'm here to talk about the possible ways he could have escaped death at the hands of the walkers. As you all know, him and Nicholas were trapped in the alley by 100 or so walkers coming toward them, and obviously the fate didn't look good, and we all know what happened with Nicholas, killing himself, and Glenn falling off. I've been reading a lot of Facebook comments, YouTube comments, and a lot of people, are in favor that he's not dead. I'm still, on the fence because I watched the death scene again, and it just looked like, Glenn was getting devoured by those walkers. And, how he fell first, and Nicholas fell on top of him, but it seemed like the angle they were falling, it was like, of course, Nicholas would land on top of him, but, how the angle or how it was shown Glenn was on the ground, he had somehow managed to come, straight, like on the ground, looking up, and maybe it was, Nick's body on. I just don't know, man. It's really confusing because you would think if he fell on top of him, back, facing Glenn, that you would see that, but also, he could have fell, horizontally, and that's what we seen, the intestines getting ripped. But it did look like Glenn was, screaming in agony and pain, and it was just a tough scene to watch. But I noticed that Glenn could have, and what I noticed in comments that he could have, somehow, made his way underneath the dumpster to safety. Although walkers we've seen in previous seasons, previous episodes that they can and will crawl under things to try to get to a human. But that's one scenario. Another scenario, as we all know, has just been that Glenn could just been covered with Nicholas's guts and intestines and blood, and been saved that way. But it's hard to imagine that Glenn survived. But we all know that Scott, Gimple, Robert Kirkman, all like to throw monkey wrenches into the scenarios and, play with us fans' emotions and, get us going in one direction, then yank us back into the direction that they really intended for us to go. And, pretty much a lot of people are on edge. I don't expect to see too much evolving or referring to, anybody on The Walking Dead at least next week, because as you all know, there will be a 90-minute episode on Morgan and how he transformed, from the guy we met in season 3, episode 12, titled "The Clear," to how he is now, where he's more peaceful and believes in giving people second chances. So we're gonna see that, and maybe hopefully we'll see how his son is killed. We don't like really condone that or really want to see it for the enjoyment, but it would be good to get a visual of what he described to Rick back in season 3. But what are y'all thoughts? Do you think there's any chance that Glenn did survive? And if so, what are your theories? Maybe you have another theory outside of him going underneath the dumpster, or him just being able to be disguised under now what seems to be Nicholas zombietized. I'm just making up a word. Although he didn't quite turn, or he didn't turn at all, still, he was already dead. So maybe, Nicholas saved him. But what are y'all thoughts? Do you think there's another way possible that he could have survived, what seemed unsurvivable? Or do you think he's dead? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to this channel. Share this channel. Like the video, and I reply back to each and every comment at my most convenient time. But just let me know, because just been following the Walking Dead thread since last night's episode, and a lot of people seem to think he's alive, but there's a few that think he's dead as well. So I'm on the fence about it. So just let me know y'all thoughts and scenarios and possibilities. And until next time I'm out. Peace.